Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tilton Talk show. It's Monday night again, sponsored by Small Affordable Cars. I'm Paul Hipkiss.
And I'm Claire Giblin, and tonight we've got a jam-packed show, and we're joined by the American man himself, Mark Meredith.
Good evening, all.
The main producer extraordinaire, Chris Browne.
Of course. Good evening.
Craig Courtney, couldn't think of anything else to add to your name.
Plonker. I can think of a few.
You can't think of anything nice to say, you know. Don't say it at all, believe you know.
Alan Watton.
Good evening, everyone.
My new away day pal, Mark Adams.
Mark Rowe.
Hello, everybody. You all right?
And we're joined by a special guest tonight, Marcus Painter.
Why, yeah.
Good evening. Thanks for that.
The Blues. So we pick up two nice 2-1s in the space of a week. 2-1 wins, obviously at home to Hull in the Cup last week in the replay. Last minute winner from Koji Miyoshi, which was wonderful. And then that beautiful performance at Stoke. We've got our Blues back, haven't we? That's what we want. That's what we want to see. 100% from every single player. Taking more of our chances when we're getting them, scoring good quality goals. And at Stoke, I mean, both goals were just top class, weren't they? And Bakuna's free kick reminded me of Beckham against Greece. But as we've got the face and voice of Blues TV on here tonight, we'll start with you, Marcus. Tell us your thoughts, mate, on... Let's go with... I mean, I don't know if did you see anything of the Hull game? Start with Hull, and then we'll go on to Stoke.
I actually didn't see that much of the Hull game, obviously due to my commitments in the academy with the under-16s. We actually found ourselves away at Sheffield United, so I didn't see much of the Hull game. Yeah, obviously it was a great result, wasn't it? You know, when you kind of see us go 1-0 down, and then in the past we've kind of didn't really feel you with much confidence that you could come back from going 1 goal down, I suppose. That's how I've always felt. Probably not the best outlook to have, but that's just probably based on this season, really. But then obviously, yeah, to come back and score 2 goals in that whole game and to get through to the next round was perfect, wasn't it? To set up a tie away at Leicester, where we've sold 5,000 tickets. I mean, that's unbelievable, isn't it? And
Incredible.
The FA Cup's it's a great time for any fan, and if you can get on some kind of cup run, it really does build some excitement. So obviously, really difficult fixture there, but one to look forward to. And then obviously Saturday, I mean, really good result more than anything. I think, you know, probably looking at it, I think Tony Mowbray probably won a bit more control in the game. But at the same time, when you're playing away from home, you have to expect that the opposition are going to have their spells and they're going to put you under pressure. And we stuck to task really well. Look, we thought we defended so well as a group, not just a back four and goalkeeper. You know, you've seen the likes of Dembele tracking back in Stansfield in and around our box at one stage, and you know, trying to make clearances, and albeit that nearly resulted in an error and a goal, but then thankfully went up the other end and put one in the net for us. So yeah, I thought it was a really pleasing result, and you know, it's great to see, isn't it? I mean, since Mowbray's been in the club, he's had such a positive effect in a short space of time. So perfect start.
Yeah, what do you think the biggest differences are? Obviously, I know Rooney was trying to get us to play a certain brand and trying to get us to play a certain way, which we all know didn't really work with the players that we had. But other than that, is there anything else that you think, Marcus, that's the biggest difference from, you know, in such a short space of time?
It's hard to say, isn't it? I mean, sometimes, you know, if you're looking at the two, side by side. One's got bags of experience, the other hasn't, more so in terms of coaching. So I always think that has a big part to play in it. You know, whatever job or trade you're in, whatever it be, you can't beat the experience that goes with that. So that's bound to have had some kind of effect. And, you know, I think they call it the new manager bounce, don't they? And that effect, whether it got to the point where some players felt it needed that new voice in the change room, I don't know. I mean, who knows what the actual reason is, but whatever it is, it certainly worked. I know through, you know, some of the ex-pros and pros that have had Tony Mowbray through their careers, they said one thing that always sticks out with them is his man management skills and getting the best out of players. You know, I think when you think of the best managers, most people think they tick all boxes. And realistically, you don't always have to do that. You know, that's why you have staff around you that can do areas you're not so good at, maybe. And obviously one of Tony Mowbray's key areas, from what I'm hearing, some of the lads say, is that, he's just a real good guy and, you know, wants to get to know every player and wants the best for them. So sometimes that can go a long way, even before you get to the tactical side of the game and the coaching methods and styles. So, it's, you know, see, I've never really come across him too much myself personally. Obviously played against him over the years and against his teams, but, you know, the first team are over at Epic now, over at Henley and Arden. So from an academy point of view, we don't really get to see too much of the first team train, but, you know, they're always welcoming if we do want to go and watch. So,
Yeah.
Can I ask what happened to Wayne Rooney's manager's bounce?
It doesn't always work.
Yeah, it just didn't work, did it? It didn't work. And again, it's always hard to put your finger on the actual reasons. I mean, everyone sat here will have their own opinions on why it didn't work, but I don't know either. But, you know, I think when it gets to that point when, you know, the crowd starts turning on the manager and, you know, you're not getting results, it's tough. I mean, players will always question a manager when things aren't going right. Maybe not to his face, but I've been in dressing rooms where players will get together and be like, what he's telling us to do is not working here. And, you know, it's not a nice environment when things are going like that. You know, you don't really want a blame culture, but unfortunately when we're in such a high pressure situation like first team football is, then people do look to point fingers, and 9 times out of 10 when it goes wrong, it's the manager's fault. So yeah, unfortunately that was the case, wasn't it?
Yeah. Claire, I'm going to come on to you next, because I know on Friday we sadly lost one of our own, didn't we, in Lorraine? And just going to come on to that, if you don't mind, Claire. I know that you've met Lorraine.
I just want to say we're going to dedicate tonight's show to Lorraine. She was a massive part of the Blues family, home and away. I met her a few times. She was always happy. She's definitely one of us. So it's just sending all our condolences to all of her friends and family as part of the Tilton Talk show, and she'll never be forgotten, and she's definitely a true Blue. So rest in peace, Lorraine.
Massive Blue.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'll come to you next, Mark Meredith. How are you? And what did you think of the game on Saturday, mate?
Yeah, good. You know, you didn't ooze world class, did it? But we did we got the performance that we wanted. We got the performance. We got, as you said earlier, we got our Birmingham back. You know, we've got a hard-working team. Majority of this team is obviously still the John Eustace team that we talked about in the past, that are hard-working with passion and love and desire. And we lost a little bit out under Rooney. And again, like Marcus just said, nobody really knows the reason for it. But it seems like we've now brought that back in the last 4 games. Like even when, you know, Spoons was in charge of 1 and then 3 games under Mowbray. And there's been a whole different feeling, both on and off the field. Now, obviously watching it on TV over here in the States, I didn't get to see the whole game because it wasn't on. I watched the game Saturday. Was watching the fans behind the goal, was, you know, the excitement of that again. You know, going on to the whole game. It's another late goal, this time a winner, which, another late goal after the Swansea late goal that JG scored, which shows that we're now pushing, right to the end of games. Two really good goals on Saturday. Stansfield's taking his great, and Bakuna's free kick. You can't really get any better than the quality of that. So, no, it's pleasing. The players are playing back to their strengths. As Marcus said, we've got a manager that is very knowledgeable about the game. From what I hear from my coaching friends, great man management skills and very down to earth. We lost that in Rooney, and I talked about it before. I thought maybe a bit of arrogance in the way Rooney was. But again, we'll never really get to the bottom of that. But we move forward, and I'm really enjoying the journey in the last 3 games. And long may it continue.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Christian Bielik at centre-back as well, rather than defensive midfield, didn't do too bad, did he, either? I thought he had a decent game at centre-half next to Sanderson.
Yeah, I think he did. He done well.
Yeah.
And I think from my point of view, I think he's probably had an arm around his shoulder a little bit. He struggled a little bit under Rooney again. Mowbray's coming back into the door. He's probably spoke to all the players, but he's probably said, listen, we're going to try you in a different position. He's filled in with the confidence and belief that he can do that. And for me, I think Shane, I think Long is probably still the best centre-back that we have. We'll take the 2 right now if they're going to do the job.
Yeah, early comment coming in for you, Marcus, from Pete Taylor. Can you ask Marcus if Cristiano Ronaldo is still in his pocket?
Well, yeah, that's probably one of the only times that he's probably ever been subbed against a 19-year-old from Birmingham, isn't it? It was, I always say this to people when they say, what was it like to play against Ronaldo? Maybe I'm doing myself a little bit of a disservice, but you have to remember when I played against him, he'd just come to Man United and he was in the stage where he had very little end product, and he was getting criticised for that by his teammates and I think the supporters at the time, from what I hear. But he would do a lot of dancing around the ball and not exactly running at me. So it made things easier than what you see, in years later, where he's absolutely destroying defenders. So I was lucky enough to catch him at a good time, I think. So, yeah.
He can only do as good as you let him, mate.
Absolutely.
That's it. I've got to admit, I'll never forget that. The one moment up on the cop side, and we both had a shoulder-to-shoulder, and I got the better of him, and he went flying. And I remember the cop just went wild, and I thought, oh, geez, I wish I could have the footage of that. Even my own boys don't believe that I played against him, but it's one of them. I can't really show them because, as I say, I haven't got the footage of it. But yeah, it's a great memory. Good times for the club as well, not just me.
Sorry, mate, that must be on YouTube somewhere. I would have thought. I think you can get.
What was the result of the game? Was it 2-2?
Was it the 2-1?
Which one?
The one when Pandiani.
I think it was 2-1. Yeah, I think we did lose that one. I know I played against them twice. One we drew, one we lost. So I'm not sure which one it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, certainly the 2-2's on YouTube because I've seen it many times.
Yeah.
All right. I'll have to have a look at that then later.
Pandiani scored, didn't he, in the game?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was right.
Yeah. It's Pandiani.
Yeah. So, Mark Adams, on to you next, mate. Talk us through your day on Saturday. I know you was there as well. So,
it was,
went on the bus to Stoke.
No. I had to go on the bus to Canna. And actually, that links. Can I also just say hello to a really nice guy I met called Dave, one of our listeners. I said I'll give him a shout out.
One of your friends.
All right, give me some credit.
Facebook friend.
I handed out the little cards that you told me to do. So, anyway, I got the bus to Cannock, and my mate, she drove us to Stoke. But it was, like you said before, Paul, it's like the old Blues. It was just from start to finish. The day started, everyone was pumped up and positive off the pitch. On the pitch, it was just like the Blues of old. We gave it everything. Every single one of them gave their all. There was no nonsense, no nonsense formations. It was like solid. It was exciting. It was actually a good game for the neutral, I think. I think Buchanan had a terrific game at left back. I think he was superb. They're all a solid 7 out of 10, but I'd just give him an 8 or a 9. I thought he was brilliant. And it was exciting, and away from home, singing like we did in the last few seconds, and after the whistle went, it was just it was like going back 10 or 15 years. Absolutely brilliant. So I can't wait for the Leicester game now on Saturday. And other games, it's not a chore anymore. I know we keep saying it, but I think we've just found the right man. I mean, before he came in, there was all these shouts that he was a dinosaur and all the rest of it, but he's doing a brilliant job. He's nothing like that.
Well, no, he's definitely not a dinosaur, and his football.
No way.
It's good on the eye. I mean, some of the play that when we go forward, it's still very early days. Obviously, he's only been with the lads on the training ground for just over a week, isn't it? Really. So I think we are obviously going to lose games. We've got to get real, obviously. But I think if we can sort of stabilise ourselves this season, finish above 17th, that's what I'm asking for, because I'm sick to death of being 17th. How many times have you been 17th?
It's getting boring, isn't it?
Yeah. So to finish above 17th would be a good season for us this season, and that would be progress. So certainly from coming from where we've been recently in 20th, and that goal difference is obviously might affect us a little bit. He's got to clean up that mess, hasn't he? Because I think it was a minus 15 goal difference, wasn't it, in the 15 games that Rooney was here, wasn't it? So we need to try and tidy that up a bit. Hopefully get a nice big win against somebody at home, or away. Get a 4 or 5 if we can. And I think these players are capable of doing it now. And for me, it just looks like they really have responded to him. And like we've already said, he's more like the arm around the shoulder kind of man, isn't he? And even from his first ever press conference as our manager, I could tell straight away that the lads will respond to him, even when he threw the line in about the buffet at the back of the room and stuff like that. It's kind of like, really this is the kind of guy you want to work for, this, isn't it? So
absolutely,
you certainly see that. But Craig, I'll come on to you next, mate.
Yeah, I was just, to echo everything that had gone on and to say, the 3 things summed it up for me on Saturday, and that was drive, passion, and basically fight. It was there from the outset, and I saw the game, the stats. They just sold the picture, and if anybody had been looking at that and actually watched the game, sold the picture that it was all Stoke and that there was Birmingham were never in it. They were all over us. Actually, yes, there was a high percentage of possession, but a lot of that was in their own half or even in the centre of midfield. There was, for me, no real clear-cut opportunities bar the one they scored to worry us, and it was a massive difference throughout the whole of it. I can honestly say I sat there and thought, you know what, we might concede 1, but I can't see us conceding 2. And this was the thing. The substitutions were right. I think there's a few players that have still got to pull the finger out. Roberts he's got to show us something, because at the moment I know he's been injured, I know he's been out, but there was no tracking back from his perspective. If his shirt got wet, it was obviously because it was getting dew in the air, because there was definitely no sweat from what I saw being produced. Stansfield, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And there's been a couple of questions on the message board, actually. Could we sign him permanently? Will we sign him permanently? I think I'd love to, but I honestly don't think we could afford him. Maybe in the summer we might do something.
In the summer, I think.
It's going to cost us an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
But what a stroke of genius, I've got to say, with Bielik in the centre half, because I know he's got that element of I can make a mistake in him. However, the defence looks completely different. There's a ball that can be played out from the defence now, which I don't think we saw before. It's more of just going to clear my lines or whip it out to the wings. Whereas now we've actually got Bielik who can continue that ball playing through the middle, and that helped. Miyoshi was unplayable. He was absolutely awesome, and he is thriving. And his partnership with Stansfield, that can be amazing if it continues the way that it is. But overall, it was just lovely to end the day and actually, have a smile on your face and think, hey, we just turned over a team who ultimately 4 weeks or just over 4 weeks ago made us look stupid at St Andrews in front of our own fans. And that was the big difference. And 3 words to sum it up: Blues are back.
Yeah. Who was everyone's man of the match on Saturday, would we say? See if we all agree.
Tough.
Buchanan for me, Paul.
Yeah? Marcus, what do you think, mate?
I could pick a few, but Miyoshi for me.
Yeah.
I agree with Miyoshi, actually.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, he seemed to do something. Yeah, go on now.
I was just saying Miyoshi.
Yeah.
I'll say Miyoshi then.
I'm gonna say just for that goal, Stansfeld.
Yeah. Well, what about Bacuna with his free kick? I mean,
no, great, Bacuna did nothing. Sorry, Bacuna did nothing apart from that free kick.
Yeah. He was a bit.
He did nothing.
I think there was. I don't want to be negative. I mean, it was brilliant. I loved every minute of it. I lay in this bed, no heating on, cheering myself.
Random.
Nobody in. It was great. And when I come to analyse what had gone on, there was a problem late on where we kept giving the ball back to them. So we never got out. And the people that they brought on didn't get in the game enough to pick those balls up. Giselle hardly had a kick, whereas other people would have been taking the ball up and probably giving it away. But it just kept going out and out and out and coming back. Great defensive. I mean, does anybody remember Drama's block when the bloke just early in the second half, he blasted this thing and Ruddy wouldn't have got anywhere near it.
No.
And he hit Drama in the middle of the chest and bounced away. And you're thinking, they ain't going to score today. Not a chance. 20-odd shots there, commentator kept saying, 20-odd shots. Yeah, well, 5 on target. We had 5 on target. We scored twice. Now, that to me was the biggest revelation. We took the majority of our chances. And that's what we've not been doing for 2 years, let alone under Rooney. We need to get that strike average up. And, I've always said, trouble is we only scored 1 goal a game. Well, in the 3 games this week, we've scored 2 in every game, and we haven't lost any of them. If you score 2 every week, you're not going to lose too many times, are you?
No.
And Stansfield's goal was stunning. I love the way he rifles them 6 inches under the crossbar. No goalkeeper's got a chance with them. I mean, he's done it 2 or 3 times, hasn't he? Just rifles it in.
Is it just
the guy.
Sorry, Alan. Is it just me, or does he remind you of Paul Devlin a little bit when he was up front with Furlong? He was a bit. He's quick. He's tigerish. He's strong. He's a good finisher. You know what I mean? He just reminds me of Dev. He does when he.
Yeah.
He's even
got a bit of force-sell in him.
Yeah, he's even got the same hairdo as Dev had then as well in 1996.
Well, the Stoke commentator kept calling him James, so he worked it out in it. When the ball hit the back of the net and he turned around and pointed to his number, the commentator worked out who he was because he kept thinking he was Jordan James, but hey, I had a bad day. I had a good one.
I mean, the other thing is, Ruddy, he looks a completely different guy, and because he's got a stable defence in front of him, he doesn't look as though he's worried about anything now. And back to the shot stopping and being Ruddy of old. I mean, that's the other thing. Your defence is only as good as the people in front of them, and your goalkeeper's only as good as the defence in front of them. So the fact that he feels, I should say, better, to me, puts him in a good position. And now I look at this window and think, we were going into it thinking we were going to sign a goalkeeper. I don't think we are now. If I'm completely honest, if we see one more coming through, I'd be really happy. Dazal, so when he came on, nice crunching tackle that he put in there, and he won me over straight away just with that one tackle. So get some of them down to St Andrews, and he's going to have the backing of everyone.
Yeah, definitely. Marcus, I'll come back to you, mate. Tell us a little bit, for those that don't know, obviously, a bit about what you're doing at the club nowadays.
Yeah, so when I finished playing a good while ago now, I first went into coaching with the Blues community, so the education development program, and that was my first real taste of coaching then. And following that, I was asked by the previous academy manager, was Christian Speakman, who's now at Sunderland. He asked me would I like to come into the club to coach within the academy. So his viewpoint was that he wanted to get more ex-pros in around the younger players and kind of offer that kind of guidance to the players. So I took him up on it, and I've been with the under-16s ever since. It seems to suit me, that age group. I'm comfortable with that, and obviously I'm still learning. You know, I don't think you ever stop learning. You know, obviously people say, "Oh, you played the game, so you should know a fair bit." Yeah, but as we know, you know, recently with our manager, it's not always the case of, no matter, you know, what you've done in the game then just easily transfers and you can just get your message across to the players. I think that's the hardest thing, is kind of getting the key points and messages to the players in the dressing room and everyone to buy into it. So, so I'm with the 16s, and I've been really fortunate to have some really good youngsters that have come through the system that since I've been there, you know, and it's been great for me really just to step back and see their development. You know, obviously we've had a number, haven't we, from Jude Bellingham to Job and George Hall, Jordan James, the list goes on, doesn't it? Ramel Donovan recently. So, it's great because obviously I get to see him at a young age, younger than 16s. Obviously, that's my age group, but you see them in younger age groups before they get to you. And, just seeing their development and seeing them step out onto the pitch at St Andrews is the main thing that kind of gives you that satisfaction. So, academies doing something right, aren't they? You know, I think that's fair to say, because there's been some talented youngsters that have come through.
Yeah, I was having the conversation with my dad yesterday about, you know, I like my 1 to 11s on this show and picking the best teams and all that. And in my lifetime so far, I was trying to pick an academy, Blues 1 to 11. And obviously I couldn't have Francis Latchford and, you know, Joe Gallagher and players like that because I didn't see them. But I was trying to do it, and I was struggling in a few positions. Don't worry, mate. You was left back, and
that's what I was waiting for. That
I put Matt Sadler centre back as well. Although he didn't play centre back for us, he did go on to play there later on in his career, didn't he? I was struggling with another centre half and a really good right back from our academy in my time. I went Jack Butland in goal. But, you know, I'll throw it out there to our viewers and everyone here, like in our lifetimes. And I know, obviously, Chris and Alan, you can go with, obviously, that great team that we had back in the 70s. But, you know, what would our strongest 11 be from our academy that's come through our academy? I mean, could I have had Andrew Johnson up front? Because I know he sort of came from Luton, didn't he? But was that was their academy? I don't think he played for their first team, did he?
No. He did spend time in our youth system.
Came to our academy.
Yeah.
Carts has got to be in there as well.
Who?
Carts will have to be in the midfield, won't he?
And Jude.
Obviously Jude Bellingham and I was trying to think. You got Jude Bellingham. Obviously on the flanks you'd have to have Redmond and Damari Gray probably.
You said no right back. Can I go far back as Kevin Ashley?
Oh yeah,
good shout actually. Yeah, forgot about him.
Ian Clarkson.
Clarkie and Frainer, yeah.
I didn't think of Clark. But yeah, it was only a quick 5-minute conversation.
Yeah.
Simon Sturridge up front for you.
This is kind of why I'm throwing it out there, because I need some help. Because I can't remember. So you're going to name a better left back than Marcus now, ain't you? And he's going to take his place.
This is where we're going to start falling out, isn't it?
I think we better say goodnight, Marcus.
Connection's gone.
Leave it there.
So, in your playing career, Marcus, with what we've been through at the Blues recently, obviously, with this change from Rooney to Mowbray, did you experience anything similar to that yourself, where it just wasn't working with the manager that you were playing under, and then someone else has took over and, hey presto, straight away?
Definitely. Well, I wouldn't say the end result where I was at, where it worked eventually, but I had a similar kind of tricky spell at Portsmouth. So obviously you remember the time when Portsmouth were going through that stage of their ownership had changed and the supporters had kind of all grouped together and got the club out the mess they were in. It was. I'd probably say there when I was at Portsmouth, they're in that stage of kind of trying to stabilise, and they're actually in League Two, so it wasn't a place obviously where their fans wanted to be or anything like that. That wasn't the ambition at all. But I went there under Guy Whittingham, and it was pretty hard. I mean, they were just signing anyone that it seemed like that had played a good number of games. They were looking for like experienced footballers, so to get, I suppose, at League Two level, because you're only going to get players that are coming towards you're at the end of their career. But that's, I mean, even then we had Patrick Agyemang, remember him, and David Connolly, the Republic of Ireland international. So for League Two football, we had a really good squad. But yeah, it just, I mean, Guy Whittingham wanted us to play total football, play out from the back in League Two. It didn't go to plan. And then quickly he went, right, forget that. We're going to now go route one up to Patrick Agyemang. So obviously the fans kind of got onto that. They weren't keen with how things were going. The results weren't going our way as well, that's what it boils down to at the end of the day. I think fans can accept whatever style of play, but if you're not winning games, you're going to be in trouble. And that was the case for Guy Whittingham. I mean, he ended up getting sacked, and who did we have after that? It was Richie Barker. Again, Richie Barker come with his new ideas, and this day wanted to play, and that didn't seem to work. It just seemed to be in a mess. It's hard to put your finger on it. I don't know whether it was the dressing room we had, the quality of players in there, whether it was, I don't know, the tactics he was trying to make us play in that division didn't work. Who knows? But he didn't last long either. And this was all in one season, remember? All in one season. So Richie Barker went, and then Andy Orford stepped up, who's well known to the Portsmouth fans. He was a coach in the academy days, the academy manager. So he stepped up and kind of steadied the ship, kind of stopped the club getting relegated actually from League Two. So it worked out all right. But that was the only club I've been at where it's been hostile and there's discontent, at your home stadium. I mean, Portsmouth, I'd actually say they're very similar to our club. Say that the fan base, they're very similar, both of them, same kind, and very passionate. Want you to give you all, and even there at League Two, we was getting at least 18,000 every single week, and that's League Two football, and sell it out for away games and things, and yeah, it didn't really work, and then I retired after that. So that was, probably not the best way to finish your career, but at the same time, I loved it. I loved the club there, playing for Portsmouth. As I say, it reminded me what I like and what I'm about. As I say, probably because it was similar to the Blues fan base. It just didn't work out.
How far back we going, mate?
This would have been 2014.
Okay.
2014,
10 years this year, then, yeah. So you retired 10 years ago this year?
Yeah, I actually haven't thought about it like that. Yeah, it would be.
Wow. Yeah, look at 23.
Yeah, you mentioned Andy Orford there, and his son Nick actually came to the business that I worked for a bit. He's been gone now a few years, but I was working with his son Nick for a little while, and I know he appeared in the first team at Portsmouth as well.
Well, funnily enough, he got his opportunity when his dad got the job. And that was another thing as well. Like, at the time, I knew his background was academy football, but as soon as he took over at Portsmouth, straight away he's put about 5 young lads into the first team that were nowhere near ready. And I mean, that wound quite a few players up, you know, that they just weren't ready, and they weren't helping the team. And it was just a case of, right, how can I kind of help myself out and the players I know? And, you know, it's always going to reflect well on him, isn't it? If you can say, oh, yeah, we've had 5 players get a first-team debut this season. So, yeah, it didn't really work. But, you know, I know we've known in the past, same happens when I was at Blues with Steve Bruce. Obviously, Alex Bruce seemed to get a lot of opportunities. It's just the way it is, you know. Yeah. It's his son, isn't it? So he's going to look after.
Claire, the weekend, just go back to the weekend. I mean, first of all, your video went absolutely viral after you posted the free kick. Mark's mentioned it already, the atmosphere. You go to like every away game.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, what's the difference? Is it purely the fact that the fans love the person that's there, or is it, do you think, the football or just the way the team are that's turned it around? Because it did sound amazing, you know, no matter what you were listening to, the fans were amazing Saturday. So what's the difference?
I don't think it'll ever be about the football on the pitch. I generally think that it's who's in charge. I think that he's brought everybody together. I think that the football is good. We can still improve, but I generally think that, you know, they love Tony Mowbray. I mean, we've already got 4 songs for him. And I just think that everybody's just got a bit of a buzz back. I know that I've fallen right back in love with them again. I just think that everybody's involved. Everybody enjoys going again. And, you know, like, the goals were amazing on Saturday. I mean, I haven't seen a free kick like that for ages. Gary Gardner's doesn't even come close against West Brom. I mean, that free kick from Bakuna was sensational. And Stansfield's goal was brilliant as well. So I just think that, the atmosphere, we sang basically every song that we know on Saturday, and it was great compared to Leeds and compared to some of the others when he was in charge. I just think we did an amazing job, and I think the away fans as well, we are loud, and when we win and when we play well, we get behind them.
Definitely, yeah. Mark Meredith, was you at the club at the same time as Marcus when he was playing for us?
Yeah, I worked actually with the community department when he was there. I think, was you under Stuart Hall, Marcus, at the academy?
I was, yeah, Stuart Hall and Brian Eastick as well.
Yeah. So I came in with Terry and Christian. So I would have been coaching with them when you'd probably then. I don't even think you even played in the first team then. I think you'd probably moved on by then. But you only would you make like 5-6 appearances, something like that?
Yeah, I think it was something like that. I remember it was Steve Bruce at the time. I'd just signed a 3.5-year contract at the club, and Steve Bruce said to me, he said, you know, we're in the championship now, and there's a real push that we have to get promotion. So I can't guarantee that you're going to be playing week in, week out. So he said, you know, you've had clubs come in on loan for you, and one of those clubs was Swansea at the time, Swansea City. So I got to admit, at the time I didn't have a clue what Swansea were like, or I knew they were in League One, and Steve Bruce said to me, it was like they're, you know, a really good club, or potential to be a great club. They've got a big fan base and they've got ambition to, you know, climb the league, get out of that league. So I've got to admit, every move I made in football kind of worked out. You know, whether it was, I went from Blues to Swansea, we won the league at Swansea. Had some really, really good managers there. Roberto Martinez was the standout for me. He was superb. And, you know, and then after that, then when Roberto left, we had Paulo Sousa, which, you know, he's you know, gaining some real experience as well since the time I was last with him. He's been, you know, managing Champions League teams and things. And following that, then I went to Brighton with Gus Poyet. So we won the league with Brighton. So I was really lucky, really, to kind of go to the clubs that I was at. And and fortunate to come across the people I came across.
Yeah, I did the same as you. Obviously, I didn't play. I came out of school and went to Solihull College and did the coaching awards and stuff there. And I went with the community department and Dean for a while. And it was the same thing. I was working with Dean. I was working at the actually on reception at the main stadium. And then obviously got in touch with Christian and Terry and then moved over to Wasthills from there. But, I echo everything you say about the academy stuff. It's just amazing to be around on a daily basis, all those, good, talented players coming through and just being a part of that development journey for them as well.
Yeah. Marcus, Pauline Newman asked a question earlier. Are there any 17-year-olds or 15, 16-year-olds, that you think are sort of ready to eventually, showing enough potential to make it into our first team that we haven't seen yet?
We've just given out around about 8 to 10 scholarships from our age group. So they'll be full-time employees as of next year when they leave school. Obviously, they've all got potential. It's always hard to kind of pinpoint one particular player. I even remember, going back to Jude, where we'd have him in the training sessions when he was 14, training with the under-16s. And remember Mike Dodds, the coach I used to be with, who's now at Sunderland, and he would say to me when he's going to be a Champions League player. And I actually, you can't say Jude wasn't talented. He's really talented, and we had high hopes for him. But when he come out with comments like that, I used to think, steady on. Like, how can you say that to a 14-year-old, 16-year-old kid? He wouldn't say it to him. He'd just say it to me. But I just used to think, how would you know that? He obviously did know. But, it's difficult to put your finger on one player. I mean, we've got a number of players in our academy at various age groups where you think, you could have a real good chance. But there's a lot involved in that. It's not just a case of, he was great throughout the age groups, and then, you may come into the first team frame where you've got, your position could be blocked up and through signings that the club have made. So there's a lot of factors that play a part in whether you make your breakthrough. But one thing that we try and do, from our academy all the way through to first team, they call it pathway. So we try and make sure that, someone that you have high hopes for, let's say in centre midfield, isn't blocked up by someone else, if that makes sense. So if you've got centre midfielder that's getting towards the latter part of his career, let's say, just as an example, like a 30-year-old midfielder, then you have visions of kind of not blocking up his the youngster's pathway by bringing somebody else in that will limit his game time. So there is clear plans that are in place to do that. But I could throw a number of names out there. So I think it would be unfair for me to.
No, go on. Go on. Is there anybody? There must be somebody in particular we've got to look out for soon.
Well, I think the best thing to do is probably look towards the 21s to start with, because they're the ones that you could probably say are closest to it. And you've got Josh Home that's performing really well lately. He's from the northeast. He's a Geordie lad, but we brought him in at scholarship age at under 18s. Actually released him, I believe, and we took him from then. So he's performing really well in the under 21s, and you can't forget, Tommy Fogarty as well, defender. He scored as a defender this season. He scored 5 goals, so that's really impressive, and that will catch the eye, whether that's from loan clubs and. Obviously, the manager and the first team staff will be well aware of what the younger players do, but not always as easy as that. Just giving them a call up for the next, for the FA Cup. It could be a case for some of these players that they do have to go out on loan and develop further before they're ready.
Definitely, yeah.
Fantastic.
And Claire, are you looking on the comments board, Claire? I just wondered if there was any questions, any more questions coming in, or any more good comments worth reading?
We've had one off Nigel Mann, which is, what was Brucey really like to play for? Was he a good gaffer or not?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah, he was. I always respect him. I'm trying to choose my words carefully here. I always respect him because he gave me my opportunity in first team football, and without a manager that puts faith in you to do that, you could say I wouldn't be talking to you now. So respect him for that. But what I would say is that when I then come across Roberto Martinez, Gus Poyet, I felt like I learned more about the game under them from a tactical point of view. Where Steve Bruce was, I felt, was just very much his strengths lay in as a motivator. He was good at motivating you, and I can't say that looking back on it that I learned too much as in terms of playing the game, if that makes sense. I'd always say, yeah, that the foreign managers have come across who has taught me more. But yeah, that I'm not being negative to Steve Bruce there. As I say, we've all got our strengths in certain areas, and I'd probably say his biggest strength was that motivation factor that he could give. And obviously, being a captain of Man United, you have something about you, don't you?
Yeah.
You know, he was very successful for us, so getting us up to the Premier League, so we can.
Well,
you know, you can't take that away from him. So I respect him. I respect him for that.
We had the best of him as a manager, didn't we?
Manager,
I don't know if he'll manage again now. Hopefully he does, but if he doesn't, if he calls it a day now, then I think looking back, you know, in his early 40s, we had the best of him as a manager. I think. I don't think anybody else. I know he got Hull to the FA Cup final. Didn't need to be fair, but I think we had the best day. We had the best days of him. I think.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There is another one from Benji Smith. What's Marcus think about the likes of Dixon and Tatum Jr.?
Yeah, well, obviously you got two really talented centre forwards there. I mean, both are natural goal scorers and have a real eye for goal. So you've got Junior Dixon came into the club later than you'd probably like. Come from Crystal Palace, I think it was. So, you know, he's another one that's been performing for the 21s, has been scoring goals. And Frank Tatum, he's one that's been with us from such a young age, and a local lad and a Blues fan as well. So, you know, he's a real hard work. I had him in my age groups from under 12s, and when I first came into the club, I had a spell with the 12s, so I had him there, and even under 16s. And yeah, just a real hard-working centre forward, but also with a real eye for goal. He does give you so much. I mean, he would be one that, you know, hopefully one day he can make the first team, and, you know, with the desire he has for the game, he's one that you could really see the fans taking to. Like, believe me, he doesn't let many defenders off on an easy game. He'll leave a foot in at times and really crash into them, and you know that's something I know our fans enjoy. And the fact he can put the ball in the back of the net's another good thing. But yeah, he's still got years ahead of him, so always a lot of work to do for a lot of the youngsters. But yeah, both of them are going in the right direction, so fingers crossed they keep developing in the way they're doing.
Yeah, definitely. Craig, have you got any squad game lined up, mate?
I have indeed.
What we do here, Marcus, what Craig will do is he'll pick a season, and I'm hoping it's one when you was there. Hopefully, you never know.
Great minds think alike. Great minds think alike.
What he's gonna do is tell us a couple of numbers from that season, and we got to try and guess who the player was that wore those numbers in those seasons.
Right.
Easy.
What the sound of that?
What was your squad number, Marcus? Because we can eliminate that then.
Yeah, my squad number was 31.
31, right? Okay.
31. That was my first squad number. You know what it's like for the youngsters. You get the tail end, don't you? Any number that's well out the way. Give you that. But you take anything you can get. You're proud of that, whatever number it is. Could have been 99 or been delighted with the Yeah, I have. Yeah. To be honest, they were in my dad's shed, the mum and dad's shed, for a long time. They were actually, the mum and dad got them framed, and then I didn't really look after them so much, so they were kind of went in my dad's shed, a bit unloved, because I'm not really big for things like that, shirts and and
We know someone
memorabilia. I'll stuff it.
I'm salivating here.
Robbie's licking his lips over here.
Oh no!
Oh yeah.
Yeah, most of my stuff is stuffed in the cupboard somewhere. Like, you know,
Oh,
even my
no.
Republic of Ireland 21 caps. No disrespect. I'm not, disrespecting anything what I did there or the country, but yeah, I'm just not really one to kind of show it all off. So.
I am.
He'll try and find out where you live now. He'll be around your house. He'll be around
Cheers,
your house.
Marcus. Yeah.
I've got an Azerbaijan shirt. You might be able to have that's in the cupboard.
Oh, yeah. Look at him. He's salivating.
Yeah, he's all over it. Yeah. So go on.
Yeah, but
I'm sweating here. Quite emotional.
no, but I say that since obviously recently, my wife, she thought it would be a good idea to get them up in my blue shirts framed in the house. So we've actually moved them to ours now. And we've got them up in the hallway actually, which I'm not too keen on, but everybody else in my family seemed to think it was a great idea. But yeah, just
bro, man. Just put a tray of donuts in front of you then and took the jam out of everyone.
I've got 3 squad numbers, and the squad numbers are actually from 2005, 2006. Right, no pressure, Marcus. But, so I want to know, the first one is squad number 14, and I can say that squad number 14 was used twice during the season. The second number is number 19, which again was used twice during the season. And finally, who was squad number 27? And actually, I tell a lie, that's not the final one. The final one is squad number 28, which again was used twice in the season.
So you're asking four numbers?
4 numbers.
40, I know one of the 4. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 of which were used twice. 1 was only used once. So 14.
Yuri Yarezik.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And who was the other number 14?
Are we just asking Marcus, or are we?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I might need some help here. This isn't just me. The 14 are we looking for? No one's got the answer to that yet.
Yeah. Mark Meredith just got one of the 14s, which was Yuri Yarezik. I know who the second. I know who the second 14 is as well. I think
was it Latka? Was Latka one of them? Is it Thomas Latka?
Martin Latka.
Martin Latka.
Yeah. He was number 8. He had Robbie Savage's shirt off him, didn't he?
Was he number 8? Yeah. Right. Oh, okay. I'm struggling now. I'm trying to rack my brain.
Was it? It wasn't Chris Sutton, was it?
No,
it was 40.
It was number 40. Yeah.
What was Dwight York? What was Dwight York?
I don't think Yorkie was there then that season, was he? He'd gone. I think he was there, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And he was 33 when he came. So I'm a proper nerd, Marcus, and I'm proper.
What was the other numbers?
So the other 14, I think the other 14 was Shefki Kuki, was it?
No, it wasn't.
No.
Oh, I've got you, Paul. I've got you. It wasn't.
Well, Nicky Butt, was it?
No.
Some of the guests is on Facebook. Nafty Malchit.
No, it's not Nafty.
Kilkenny. DJ Campbell. Jarosik.
No.
Who was that terrible player we had from Liverpool?
And it was a terrible player from Liverpool.
Not Salif Diao. Salif Diao, that was, wasn't it?
It was a clue of the first letter or something.
D.
That's his first name?
Yeah.
What's his first name?
Thanks for that.
What's his name, Craig?
What's his actual name?
His name's David Howland.
No.
No.
Ooh.
Who?
David Howland.
Excuse me, mate, down the shop.
The other one, I've not heard anybody mention number 19 yet.
Number 19? Ooh. 2005.
Peter Till.
Andrew Barrowman?
Andrew Barrowman was not.
Well done. No.
Peter Gilbert. Pete Gilbert.
Peter Till.
Not Peter Till either, no.
I think Peter Tilton for
Matt
19.
Burley.
You're lying to me.
Matt Burley.
No, not Matt Burley.
Peter Till.
It doesn't matter how many times you say it.
Times you say it,
It was him, I promise.
it wasn't Peter Till.
No.
So number 19,
Morrison.
one of them was a forward. In fact, both of them were forwards. One was English, one was Irish.
Clinton Morrison,
Clinton Morrison was one of them, yeah.
Just said that.
19. That was the season he went, when he didn't play much that season, did he?
Yeah.
Because we signed Forsell permanently and Pandiani, didn't we? And
DJ Campbell.
Oh, DJ was 28,
he was one of the 28s, yeah.
I said that.
And you say he's a forward as well?
forward as well, yeah. The other number I'm after, where you've got two players, is number 28. And I will say, you have obviously mentioned one of them, which is DJ Campbell. So who is the other, number 28? So I'm after the other 28.
We had an Argentinian forward.
Figaro.
And no, it's not him. And you mentioned Peter Till, Mr. Meredith. Number 37, so you're a mile off.
He wore 19.
Till.
In the reserves, maybe.
I've got his shirt here on the wall.
Don't tell Road that, whatever you do.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm booking flights now.
Oh, we're struggling here, aren't we? This is tough. This is tough tonight, Craig. I've got to give you top marks for this.
Yeah,
because when you say like number 9, it's obviously Forsell, and it's so easy.
Was Krofsky had gone by then, hadn't he?
Jarowski.
But he was American, so yeah, ignore me.
Jarowski. Blake.
The number 19 being an English striker, first initial was J.
Jiri, no.
Did you play much in the first? Did you play in the first team?
Played in the first team, not many games though.
Ooh.
More
First
appearances in the reserves.
Josh.
Jack.
Jack.
Jill.
Joe.
John.
Oh, somebody's just mentioned the first name.
John.
James.
James. What was his second name?
James. Is it Barrowman?
No, that was Andrew Barrowman.
Andrew,
Wasn't he in
James.
Doctor Who?
And Andrew Barrowman is actually your other 28. So you have got one of them.
That was a lucky deflection.
James.
What's it rhyme with?
Bike.
Yeah. What's his mum's name? James Vaughan.
James Vaughan, yeah.
Oh. No.
James McFadden.
Oh, close to Mux there.
James
James
McBride. Good knowledge, Claire.
Yeah.
Well done, Claire.
I only rhymed it with bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got no actual knowledge.
Have we got them all now?
So the other one that I wanted was 27. And 27, I will say it is tough because 27 never made an appearance in the first team.
Nyatikuki.
No, Neftakuki was 33.
27.
Carl Mottram.
Initial, it was a C.
Was it?
Carl Mottram.
It is Carl Mottram. Check you here, Mr. Adams. Are you Googling
He's
these?
getting faster
No.
Googling these.
Yeah, he's got someone on the camera, and he on like your phone or
I
something.
reckon he has, yeah. Somebody's there going...
It just so happens.
What
Carl,
are you
yeah.
His mate off the bus must have texted him.
There's a couple of comments that have come through on the message board asking who the ugly bloke in a beanie hat at the end of the EFL credits were. I'm not too sure if anybody can help at all.
I'm not sure that was.
No. Oh yes, I saw that. Yeah. Paul. Here's a good one for the future. Somebody on YouTube says, "What would we say was the best playing team made up of Blues managers?"
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a good one. Maybe something. Maybe we could do one a week. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's a good one, isn't it?
That's a brilliant one, that is.
Yeah.
And,
I
could,
like that.
and could we get a team?
Gil Merrick in goal.
I was going to say Gil Merrick. That's it.
Yeah,
I'm out now.
Trevor Francis up front.
Gary
Steve
Rowett,
Bruce centre back.
Yeah, Brucey centre half with McLeish.
Yeah.
Tony Mowbray midfield.
Thought we were doing one a week.
And are they talking about Blues players only?
They've got to have
or-
played. Yeah.
Oh, they've got to have played and managed us, or just managed us.
Best
ain't got
playing
enough.
team made up of
Got
Blues
enough.
managers. Oh, I suppose that could be. Yeah.
Rooney up front with Trevor Francis.
Oh God, what a team that! But yeah,
With Zola in the 10 just behind them.
Oh,
We've seen that.
Zola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gary Rowett.
Rowett, yeah.
yeah. Karanka.
Rowett right back.
Karanka.
Karanka.
You could have
washing the boots
Carsley.
or the kit.
Carsley,
Frank
yeah.
was the centre half, wasn't he?
Oh, that's a good one as well. Dave Mackay in the middle.
Dave McCoy would have him in.
Who would you have at right back there? Would you have Rowett? Would you have Rowett? Or
Rowett,
Kelly?
yeah.
Yeah.
Who was your hero growing up, Marcus? Who was your, when you was a kid, like, who did you idolise as a player?
I idolised Ryan Giggs.
Okay.
I know, obviously, I know there's no Blues link there, but I was just left-footed, and obviously, you know, when you're a kid, you look towards those like top-end players, don't you? And he was mine. It just I remember he brought some football skills video out the one year, and I used to watch that over and over again. I mean, yeah, he was unbelievable, wasn't he? Back in the day. I mean. Also, I say that, you know, to play in the Premier League for as long as he did as well, that just shows what kind of player Ryan Giggs was. You know, I think Ferguson used to put him centre mid, didn't he? At one point, you know, because he knew his legs were going, but he'd still breeze the game in that position. Looked so easy to him.
Yeah. Same question to you, Alan.
Sorry?
Same question to you. When you was a kid, who was your hero growing up as a kid, footballer?
Di Stefano.
Okay. I've heard the name.
Greatest centre forward that's ever lived.
Yeah.
Played for Real Madrid in that 7-3, scored. Only scored 4 that night. Had a poor game.
What was he? Was he Brazilian?
He was actually born in Argentina. He played for Argentina. He played for Colombia, and he also played for Spain because you could use to be able to naturalise people in them days.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Chris?
That I've seen. Or what?
Well, when you was a child, Joe, who was your football hero? I might as well ask everyone now, mate. I'll go around the panel.
Probably got to be Georgie Best and Trevor Francis. I don't know. You know, it's difficult when when I was really young. I suppose it was George Best because it was just George Best. There's nothing better.
Yeah, mine was Gazza. I loved watching Gazza when I was a kid, and Lineker as well. I liked a lot as well, and Peter Beardsley and these sort of players were my favourites. But no, if I had to say one, I'd say Gazza. But yeah, Claire, what about you?
Probably Beckham or Thierry Henry.
Yeah.
I've never seen. Ethan Laird now. Yeah. We need to get him on the show just so I can just talk to him all day. It'd be fine.
Yeah. Mark Meredith.
Gaza, I'm with you.
Yeah, he was just something else, wasn't he? Brilliant. So yeah, Craig.
I'd probably say 2. As daft as he sounds, Ian Rush, because he was, you know, everything when the FA Cup leagues, it was him. He was a goal scoring legend, but also John Barnes, surely because of what he brought to football was not just skill and athleticism. It was everything, you know, and he was the bee's knees, wasn't he? And then again, I know people will say it's not Birmingham related, but actually, I didn't see Birmingham until late on, whereas football to me was each Saturday sitting down with my grandparents watching the FA Cup, you know, was always the same FA Cup final. Sit down and watch it, and those are the names that stood out.
Yeah.
Which channel? Which channel are we going to watch it on? Wasn't it? You know, ITV or
who sounded better? Was it Saints and Greenshill? Was it BBC?
Switch over.
Yeah,
and that's right. And it started at about 8 o'clock in the morning, didn't it?
Yeah.
Meet the players' wife stock.
Yeah. And last but not least, obviously, Rope.
That'd be me then. No, I mean, I hit my teens, and I blues-wise, it's probably like Sturridge and Gleghorn, and I love Nigel Gleghorn. But when I was really young, I used to, when I was 7 or 8, I used to like for some reason, I used to like David Seaman when he played for us. And I know it sounds stupid, but I used to wear a green jumper for junior school, and I used to wear this green jumper, went in goal, pretended I was David Seaman. The moustache helped. The tash helped, to be fair.
You draw one on in pencil.
Yeah. No, I remember that. I was only about 7 or 8. But yeah, David Seaman, I used to like. Yeah.
What about football in general, not just Blues? Did you have any like heroes outside of Blues as well?
Not particularly. I used to love watching Lineker when I was a kid. Just went to the park pretending I was Gary Lineker. But yeah, I mean, like say, remember the old matches on every Sunday, the big match live, and you go to the park and try and whoever scored, whoever played well, you try and copy them at school the next day or over at the park and that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You do a lot of pretending, Mark, don't you? You do a lot of pretending. I'm getting a bit worried.
Hey?
You do a lot of pretending.
Hey, Rog, would you the last pick in every team that you went in?
Can I come next time? Sorry.
Mr. Meredith, Road plays his goal, or he said he does. But, I actually know somebody that lobbed Road from the halfway line into 5-a-side goals, let alone full-size goals.
Yeah, but his surname was Beckham.
Charlie Beckham.
You don't remember Satan Greavesy, do you, Marcus?
Say that again, sorry?
You don't remember Satan Greavesy, do you?
No.
Oh, dear.
Brilliant show that one. Honestly, so good.
Yeah,
You were doing something with a Leicester fan earlier, weren't you, or something like that?
Well done, Claire. I'm glad somebody's on
Not like that little segue.
Not like that, you know what I mean?
Don't say that.
For a little bit of a new thing for Tilton Talk, where we're actually going to be talking to podcasters or groups that are set up for the teams that we're going to be playing against as we go to the upcoming games. So this afternoon, I've recorded a little bit with Chris from Leicester Till I Die. Really good interview and insightful, actually, to find out their podcast is very, very, very similar to ours and the reasons why.
That's good.
It's very, very good. So watch out for the details on there and along with the predictions for this weekend's game. So, Chris, have you got a little snippet?
Yeah, I'm going to try and play some. There we go. Here we go. No, hopefully.
Right, so first of all, thank you very much to Chris from Leicester Till I Die TV for joining us to run through this week's game in the FA Cup against local Midland rivals Leicester City. But also this will be a chance for us to run through this game, backgrounds, and more about Leicester Till I Die as we go through. So, Chris, thank you very much for joining us. Give us a bit of background around what your podcast show's all about.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me on. Leicester Till I Die, it was born out of and guesting on there, and then decided, well, look, hang on, I can do this myself. I was already doing a website. I was also already doing the social media sites, but the actual YouTube side of it was born out of that. And of course, then COVID struck and we were all sort of sat at home. And basically, it stopped me going through the window and jumping 4 floors down to my death sort of thing. So, yeah, it was very good on that. And, for however long the show happens to be, it's all about having a laugh. It's all about having a joke. We don't take it too seriously. Yes, we wind, opposition fans up and we allow them to wind us up. What it's all about, you should have a bit of banter. And then at the end, you should shake hands and go off. It's a game of football at the end of the day. But it does give us a chance to put, if you go, and I know a lot of, within my group of sort of YouTube co-presenters, if you like, that from other channels, so many people started doing it because of the pandemic. They were stuck at home, nothing to do, and the fact of mental health, because it was highlighted so much during COVID. And I think I do know a good 70% of the podcasters I deal with started it to help them with that. And it, because it stopped us doing something stupid. And it's nice just for an hour, however long the show is, just to put that mask on and have a laugh and a joke, and you can forget about everything else that's going on in the world. But we cover everything sort of Leicester really, and obviously the main shows.
And there you go. That's the sort of thing we're doing. There we go.
I'm going to move on to, if I may, quick fire questions. Every time we have a special guest on, it's rude not to, isn't it, really? So what we do, Marcus, whenever we get a special guest on, I'll just spend about 30 seconds or so asking some quick fire questions. So have you seen Gary Neville's podcast, The Overlap?
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, so you know when he's walking around at the end and he's asking them questions off his phone, like very quick ones?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's what we're going to do, if that's okay.
Cool, yeah.
Favourite alcoholic drink? I think I know this.
Madrid.
Yeah, same here. Favourite city in the world?
New York.
Same as me as well. Favourite superhero? Batman.
Yeah.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
Last minute penalty for your life, who's taking it?
Jay Stansfield.
You can invite 3 people round for dinner from anywhere in history. Who are you asking?
Ooh, David Beckham. I'm keeping it all football. David Beckham, Roy Keane, and Ronaldo. We'll have a chat about that game that we
played. Yeah. Who controlled the music in the Blues dressing room when you was there, and what was it like?
It was Jermaine Pennant. So, yes, it was quite lively. Like, Jermaine loved the night out, liked his music, big character in the changing room. So, yeah, it was R&B, hip-hop type of style.
Yeah. And your favourite music and genre and band, what's on your playlist at the moment?
Honestly, I like anything reggae, 60s music, modern pop, the like indie rock, anything. Give me anything. Yeah. I haven't really got like a set genre I'll stick to.
Okay.
I'm open to all kinds. So, you know, the wedding DJ that sticks the soundtrack on, I'll take that because you got a variety.
Yeah, that's good. Who was the funniest in the dressing room at Blues when you was there?
Robbie Savage, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always doing stuff, wasn't
he? Yeah, he was a joker. Don't get me wrong, he used to wind a few people up close to where like they'd nearly snap on him. I saw Ian Bennett nearly lose it completely. Sav just, he'd do silly stuff like, where you kind of see on the playground, but yeah, he used to think it was funny, and we did as well as young lads as well.
Yeah. What was your pre-match routine and meal? Did you have go-to for every game?
I would always have scrambled eggs on toast. That would be my pre-match. And yeah, I'd always do like 3 knees to chest before the actual whistle. Like, where you've done your warm-up, whistle's about to go. I'd do 3 knees to chest. Don't know why I started doing that, but I don't know. Once I started doing it, then you always feel like you've got to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, 3 knees to chest is an odd one, but that's what I did.
Favorite boots you ever played in?
Boots. Puma Kings. Kings. When I was at my Sunday team, 3Cs, Chelmsley Wood. I'd always been over my Puma Kings.
Yeah, and best player you ever swapped shirts with after a game?
I didn't really swap too many shirts, but I asked Ryan Giggs when he played us at St Andrews. He just went flat no. He said, no, you're not having it. I asked Ruud van Nistelrooy. He said, come and get it afterwards. But I was scared to go and get it afterwards in case the manager had a go at me for getting somebody's shirt and kind of accusing me for being just bothered about that. So the only shirt I've got upstairs is Jermaine Pennant from when he was at Stoke, and I played him for Brighton in the FA Cup. So yeah, it's probably not the biggest player in the world that too excited about that one, but it's the only one I got. Yeah.
And the last one, what's your worst habit?
Worst habit. I think I might need to get the wife down for this one. She might be able to tell you better than I can.
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say, Marcus?
I actually don't think I've got any bad habits, but I can't think of one off the top of my head. I know she'll say I don't cook enough. I'm quite lazy at times around the house. That's probably, I don't know whether that's a habit or what, but a bad trait at least.
You untidy or anything like that, or you tidy person?
No, I'm tidy. I am tidy. I'm quite particular in that sense. Saying that though, when I first started playing and I moved away from Birmingham and I had a place of my own, I would actually let the dishes like build up. I didn't have a dishwasher at the place I was in, so I'd let the dishes build up to the point I'd have nothing where I had to do the washing.
Oh yeah, I do that. I do that now.
That was teenage days.
Yeah. I'll do one more just for the road. So, which manager would you have loved to have played for that you never did?
Probably just go modern era. Jurgen Klopp.
Mm.
Yeah.
Tommy Mooney said exactly the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He just. I like his personality. He seems like he's got a great personality around the players. You know, you see him putting an arm around them quite often. And just his style of play. I mean, it's exciting football, isn't it? Front foot, good to watch. Saying that, I'm not sure I'd have been able to keep up with the pace of it, but that's another story. Yeah.
What about computer games? Are you much of a gamer? You play like what's now called F24 instead of FIFA or anything like that?
I used to be. Saying that, my 7-year-old gets me into FIFA, so I have to teach him a lesson quite often. You know, and he's quite shocked that I keep beating him. But I used to spend many afternoons just wasting my life, really, when I was playing football. Afternoons just on computer games. But them days are well and truly gone now. You know, I've got 3 boys, and unless they want me to play something with them on there. It's normally Super Mario World, so they're only young, so I'm on the Switch with them. But I used to be like big on Call of Duty back in the Brighton days. All the lads would get online, and we would always have a good laugh on that. But yeah, well and truly gone those days now.
I'm 45 tomorrow, and I absolutely still love to this day Super Mario games. Honestly, I could play them all day, and we get on it. Me and my wife and my daughter, we play Super Mario Party, and we play Mario Kart, and honestly, they're the best games. Like, they're the best fun.
They never die. Yeah, they're superb, aren't they? Mario Kart, It's, as I say, like, my boys love all that. So if when they want to invite me on, I just have to show them the ropes. You know.
There's a couple of questions that have come on the message board as well, actually, just off your quick fire ones there, Paul. So Dave Twines asked a couple. He said, Marcus, do you paint around the house?
I've been known to.
And then he's also said, his serious question is, what do you think of VAR?
I don't like it at all. I really don't like it. It just kills the momentum of the game, doesn't it? You know, 1 minute you've got the whole stadium celebrating, then they're waiting however many minutes to make a decision on whether it's a goal or not. I remember seeing Andre Mariner, you know, like when VAR first got introduced, I saw him at the gym, and I said to him, I was like, do you think they'll ever scrap this? He said, well, for one, he said, I hope not, because I'm kind of involved in it, you know, at some, that was back, this was years back. He said, but they'll never get rid of it just because the amount of money they've pumped into it and how the Premier League see it as an importance to what they do. So, it's not for me. It's just, as I say, kills the momentum of the game, and I don't like all the waiting around. It's, scrap it, but I can't see that ever happening.
Do you not think it's better, though, when you watch, like, Champions League or the World Cup, for example? Do you not think it's used better in other countries or in other tournaments other than the Premier League? Or do you think it's still the same?
I don't really know too much. I mean, I don't watch too much foreign football to kind of have a big enough opinion on how they do it. But I'm just not keen on it full stop. I think I used to love the talking points on Match of the Day of, oh, they've got this wrong. The referee's made this call and he's got it wrong, or, you know, he's got it right. I used to like that. You used to go off the official's decision at that point, and that's how it was dealt with. I just think, you know, like, it's gone too far now. The fact you're pulling up an offside, someone's boot is offside or their big toes slightly offside, it's gone too far, and I'm not keen on it one bit, but, you know, that's the modern game for you, isn't it? I suppose we have to deal with it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, the thought of not having Maradona's handball again, or, you know, that sort of thing, and Thierry Henry's handball, and, you know, he does take that out of the game. Like, and obviously, anyone that used to dive, and I think back to David and Gog at Liverpool, which was one of the worst ones ever, wasn't it? When we give a penalty away at Liverpool for that. So it's nice to think that can't happen again. But I do agree, it does hold the game up to. They take too long. You know,
they shouldn't have the lines drawn. That's the problem. They should go with what they do in other countries, where they actually show like the bodies, and then it's just like right, that's offside or not.
Yeah.
So I think because we draw lines, we're a little bit behind everybody else.
Yeah. It's a bit like that system in tennis, isn't it? That tells you whether the ball's in or out.
Yeah, Hawkeye.
Yeah. You could do exactly the same for offside, and it'll tell you whether that player's offside or not.
But as you say, they've probably spent too much money on it now. They're not going to. They're not going to change it, are they?
No, millions.
Go on, Alan.
We're talking about computers here. They work 1,000 times quicker than the human brain. As soon as the ball hits the back of the net, that machine should be telling the referee goal or not. You shouldn't have to have all this looking and waiting. It's a simple mathematical. Is the bloke here or is he there? End of story. Bang. Goal. No goal. Easy. Now, all the other subtleties, the handballs and the whatever, I understand that. They have to be looked at. But offside is a linear process which could be done like that. And that's a mystery to me. As you say, in tennis, in cricket, they tell you like that. Yeah. Whether something's in, out, whatever. Why can't it be done in football?
They've got to look at the rule, though, for a handball, I think, because that's ridiculous. You know, all this natural position and all this, that and the other. It could be just so much more simplified, so much easier, you know. Maybe if you raise your hands above your head and the ball hits your arms or your hands, then that's handball. But if you keep your arms down, you know, I don't know, because obviously you can't jump, can't you, without putting your arms up. So I don't know, it's a tough one, isn't it? What was the handball?
I always remember when I did a bit of refereeing, I remember giving a penalty. There was a wall, and it took the free kick, and the ball would have hit the bloke in the lower regions, and he put his hand over his lower regions, and the ball hit it. And I gave a penalty, and he said I was protecting myself. And I said, nothing in the rules says you can do that, son. You can't protect yourself with your hands. Yeah. You know, it's a penalty. You've deliberately put your hands there to stop the ball with your hand. End of.
This is a good question. Do you ever think we'll get to the stage where they're doing rugby, where you actually hear the ref? This is from Nigel Mann. You hear the ref over the speakers.
I need to. I think that would eradicate everything. When they had it like the Women's World Cup and they had it at others, I think it just really helps you understand exactly what VAR was saying at the time. And I think in rugby, the only thing with rugby is that they actually respect the officials. Like they call them sir, and they actually take everything that they say. So I think we'd have to change the whole dynamics of football for that. But I think it'd be great. I think it would be the best thing, because then you know what's going on. Because I think that's the problem, is that we wait 5 minutes. If you watch it on TV, you can tell. But when you're in the stands, you've got no idea what's going on and what's being said.
Yeah, and that's wrong, isn't it? My first experience of that was at the England game against Malta a few months back. And obviously being Blues, obviously, you know, we haven't had VAR yet at the Blues, have we? So, you know, it was my first experience of actually being in a game with it. And that was what I said to my mate, like, that's wrong. We're sat in the stadium and people sitting at home watching it on the telly know more than what we do about what's going on, which is obviously wrong, isn't it?
Crazy, isn't it?
What Benji Smith has raised, can you imagine being in a stadium in a major football tournament? You scored a goal in the last minute, you're all celebrating the winner, and then you realise, it's been rolled off for whatever reason. And actually, the justification is just not there. I think it's plain and simple. VAR still is down to the interpretation of another individual. And until they can make it totally electronic, it's not going to work the way that we all want it to be.
Never going to be perfect, is it?
No, because it's interpretation. What one person thinks is correct, another person will say no. And there's too much of that pulling the game back. This rule that they have over a period of time to investigate it, and then they stop in place and they call it back. It just doesn't work. The flow's not there. You don't see it in rugby. You don't see it in other sports. Tennis, cricket, all of those that have used very similar things, answers are pretty quick, and that's the way it should be for football as well. Otherwise, it will ruin it.
Yeah, definitely. Back to you, Marcus. You on Blues TV on Saturday, mate, for the Leicester game or anything?
No, I'm not. No, we've actually got Sheffield United away again coming up on Saturday. So
good luck with that.
I'm committed to that. So it's always a tough one because obviously I love the job I do with the 16s and and within the club's academy, but I also love away games and going to home games, and you can't do it all. But especially when you're seeing 5,000 tickets being sold, I'd love to be in that, involved in that and just soaking up the atmosphere there. But obviously the job comes first.
But that leads us nicely on to predictions then. Yeah. So give us your prediction, Marcus. We'll start with you for Leicester away in the FA Cup on Saturday. It's hard to vote with your. You've got to vote with your head and not your heart, obviously, haven't we? So.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 2-1 Blues. 2-1 Blues. Yeah, I think I think we've all probably seen in the last 3 games that it looks like we've turned a bit of a corner. And obviously, when Leicester came to our place at St Andrews, you can see they're a quality side, but I feel like we're a different team to what we saw back then already. Yeah. So I'm going 2-1 Blues.
That'll do for me, Claire.
I'll take 1-1. I'm looking forward to having a few more thousand of us go, and hopefully we can create the atmosphere. Last time we went with the noise level and things like that. So whoever's going, I'll see you there. But 1-1.
Yeah. Mark Meredith.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for a draw as well. I'll probably go 1-1 myself and then beat them in the replay.
That'd be nice. Alan?
Yes, I think I'm looking forward to a replay. If we score 2, it'll be 2-2.
Great.
I'm going to go with the majority actually and go 1-1, as has the vast majority of the message board are all saying draws. 1-1 to Tom Richardson. We've had 2-2 Michael Woods. Daniel Rowan said 3-3 Benji Smith, 1-1, and then we'll win the replay 3-2. Pauline Newman is saying 2-2. Nigel Mann, he's said 6-0, but Leicester. No. He said to Leicester. Right, okay, And then we've got a couple of others that have gone 2-1 Blues as well. So general positivity going into the game.
Mark Adams.
I'm going to say a sneaky 1-0 to us. I think we're due to have a big cup upset. It's been a while, so why not Saturday? I'm going to go 1-0. Does anyone know? Sorry, Paul. Do you know if Vardy's fit?
No, I was told as part of the interview today that Vardy is fit, but wouldn't play 90 minutes.
No, he'd be on the bench. I would have thought. We'll win 1-0 anyway, so it don't matter.
Get your prediction, and then I'm too scared to say mine now, but we'll come back to me then.
So I'm guessing it depends on what team Leicester put out, really. But I'm going to go for a very close 2-0 to Blues.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's actually on the Super 6 on Sky Sports app this week, and I went 2-1 Leicester, but I can always change it.
Marcus, one of the questions we've had from Dave Buckley just before we finish is, as a player, could you actually tell whether the opposition were intimidated or felt intimidated by the Blues fans when they came onto the pitch? And how did it feel, you know, to be in that position if they were?
Well, I don't know whether players actually get intimidated, but you're certainly aware of the noise. Obviously, when going back to my time at playing at St Andrews, you were certainly aware of the noise that our fans would make. But if I look at, you know, going to other stadiums that I went to, like Elland Road, a packed Elland Road, I'd never used the word intimidate. So it wasn't the crowd that scared me, but the atmosphere was always top at somewhere like that. And same goes for our place. If we've got something to play for, and obviously back then it was Premier League days, we'd make some noise. And, you know, I always kind of look back and hope we get back to that point one day and we see St Andrews like we used to see it, because it would give you goosebumps when keeper Hutton's belted out. I mean, there's no place like it. That's just me speaking as a fan, but obviously when you're on the pitch, you're kind of focusing on the job you've got to do, and you're kind of less aware of the emotion of it, if that makes sense.
Have you ever we're going to wrap up now, haven't we, Chris? Have you ever nearly lost yourself doing the co-cons Marcus on Blues TV and like nearly swore or just lost, you know, with what's going, especially when Rooney was here?
I've been lost for words a few times, yeah. I've definitely been lost for words where, obviously, I work at the club and I never want to come across as that I'm overly negative. And at times, obviously, I've been in kind of doing the commentary for certain games where it's been very hard to find positives from it. But I hope to think that I choose my words carefully and don't completely rip into the players, you know, because obviously I've been there as a player and I know it's never as easy as it looks. And obviously now I'm on the other side of it. I'm watching the game and, you know, he's got to do better there. But I understand when you're, you know, in that situation, it feels completely different. It's never as easy as it always seems to be from the outside. So I'm always kind of, I'll take the player side first, but there's certain things you can't defend. So, you know, anyone listening at home, they'll be, you've got to be genuine. Otherwise, they'll be like, what's he talking about? He's trying to defend that. He's just missed from 6 yards out. So, to be honest, to a degree.
Yeah. Anyone, I think we've gone into Fergie time now, haven't we, Chris?
It's all over, mate.
So we've been the Tilton Talk Show. Thanks, everyone, for watching yet again. And as we said earlier, this show was dedicated to Lorraine, one of our own who we sadly lost on Friday. So it's good night from me and it's good night from Mark Meredith.
Good night from me and it's a good night from Craig Courtney.
It's a good night from me. It's a good night from Mark Adams. And before we do go there, good luck to the ladies midweek. Also on Sunday, let's get lots of people down there backing them and continue that climb in the league. So, Mr. Mark Adams, over to you.
Well, it's a good night from me, and it's a good night from Claire Giblin.
It's good night from me, good night from Alan Watton.
Well, I always last.
That's the one.
Good night from me, and it's a good night for Marcus.
Good night from me. Thanks for having me, everyone. Really enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for coming on, mate. And it's good night from Chris Browne.
Yes, it's a good night from me.
Chris, I should have brought you in then, shouldn't I? That's not ruined that. Completely ruined it.
Only had one job.
Where were you in rehearsal? Where was he in rehearsal?
You didn't get the memo, did you, mate?
I didn't get it after the previous 5 that had just teed that one up. Sorry about that.
I still think Peter Till wore 19.
Shut up!
Depends which website you look at.
Even got proof.
Giblin, don't you start.
Has anyone got any shirts knocking about?
Marcus has got some in his shed.
Yeah, I told you that Azerbaijan shirt.
I'll have half, yeah.
You might be able to have that.
Actually, I did buy a shirt from Azerbaijan.
This year's getting better and better.
Don't forget to get your friends.
Yeah, I will have one by the end of the year. Keep telling you.
It's your year, innit? It's your year.
My year.
It's my year.
Well, the bus driver smiled at me.
I'm sorry for you.
Was he from Azerbaijan, by the way?